Okay, here we go, everyone. I'm so excited to have Ann Paxton and John Tierpeck with us from the Unemployment Law Project because you have really made it your bread and butter to help people. You're a nonprofit organization and you specialize in appeals. First of all, thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing?
Well, we are still getting hundreds and hundreds of calls each week. And many of the calls are from people who have requested hearings in March, April, and May, and who have not received any hearings. So when you call the hearing office does not have the hearing request because the Employment Security Department is violating due process rights by not forwarding hearing requests to the hearing office for scheduling.
Can you walk it back for us, John or Ann? What happens when a claim is denied? That's when they start the appeals process.
Right, that when a person is denied unemployment and their letter states a reason why, it should include a right to an appeal listed with how to request a hearing. And under normal circumstances, a person who requests that hearing should get it scheduled within a couple weeks after that request. And that is not happening now.
Do we know how many cases are not getting heard? I mean, is there some sort of way to track that?
I don't know an exact number, but we get calls on a daily basis, hundreds and hundreds of calls. So I believe there are thousands of people who have requested hearings that have not been processed.
And some say they have been waiting for 10 or 11 weeks since they filed an appeal. And we went back and checked at the same figures at the end of last year, and they were a max of 2 months of 2 weeks to get a hearing scheduled. So that was kind of that was the ordinary course of events. And now it's been multiplied by a factor of many.
Yeah. Well, what do you suggest for people to do at this point?
Well, I would suggest they call their state senator, call their state representatives, call and email the governor's office as well to see about getting their appeal process. It's very frustrating for us because we have representatives ready and available to do hearings, and the hearings are not being scheduled.
I'm just wondering, who do you think your biggest champion is, politically, to help people move this forward?
I don't know.
You mean a person?
Yeah, I mean, if everyone's supposed to contact their senator, the representative, the governor, who can really make a move and help this and help get some action?
Well, I can't say that there's any magic answer to that. There's mixed results when you get people to sort of jump ahead of the queue. Definitely you can write the governor and your representative and ask for help, and sometimes that works. But we like to see the basic problem get addressed too, because some people have been waiting for months.
Yeah.
There's not a particular state senator or state representative that I'm aware of that is
championing
active on this issue. I mean, I know some of the offices have been more responsive to individuals than others, but I can't really say who is advocating behind the scenes on this issue.
What kind of stories are you hearing from hardworking people who are not getting paid?
This morning I spoke to a disabled veteran in the Bellingham area who filed for his benefits in March and then has heard nothing, filed an appeal, has provided his identity. He was asked for his identity a number of times and is still waiting.
Like so many people, just waiting.
Well, and people, that there are sad personal stories. People have talked about having their car repossessed. People have talked about having to move in with family to give up their apartments. Some people have experienced severe psychological issues, post-traumatic stress. There are a lot of victims of domestic violence and veterans who are waiting for benefits for weeks and months, and it's caused a lot of harm. There are people who are really wondering what their next step is, that they have to rely on social services. And worst of all, I've talked to people who have health issues and are at risk and have gone back to work now when they should not be in the workplace because they've been waiting for their unemployment for months and they've had no other choice.
Well, going back to your social services point, John, is that some people aren't even able to get social services because their ESD account says that they've been paid, but they have yet to see the money. And so when they go apply for, say, food benefits and they try to get an EBT card, it'll say that because they're getting unemployment benefits, they're no longer eligible for EBT. And so now they're in limbo, they've fallen through the cracks, they're not getting any services.
That is true. I've talked to people who are not getting other benefits they might be eligible for because they've been told that their benefits have been paid when in fact they had not been paid. And then again, they try to call the 800 number and get no response and no resolution. So they can't get their unemployment and they can't get any other benefits that they need.
But what do you think the ESD could do today to make a difference?
Do hiring. Their hiring has not been adequate for the numbers of claims. And this is simple math. You have to look at the number of claims and look at what normal staffing is and then multiply that. So also there's problems with the software in the computer and issues being updating, things like that. So they should call in the best experts. We're in Washington State, home of Microsoft, and we should be able to bring in experts who could fix these computer glitches. And most of all, do away with this system of having people who call in go to tier 1 and tier 2 and be hung up on. People who've been calling hundreds of times and waiting for hours finally get through to someone only to be transferred to someone at another level. And that usually does not lead to a resolution.
Yes, and I think it's not just the length of the delay, but it's the destruction of people's confidence in the system because your benefits are cut and you're asked to upload your ID. You do it. They say you have not verified your ID. Even you upload them again. It's still not verified. You don't know, am I waiting for nothing? Is there something I'm still supposed to be doing? It's not happening. So I think it's the level of assurance that the system is going to eventually work. That's what's really the most harmful thing.
Well, I'll tell you too, Ann and John, I've talked to a couple people, not just a couple, actually a couple of dozens of people who have said not only did the ESD not pay my benefits, they actually put a freeze on my banking account. So now I don't have access to my own hard-earned money. So they're saying this is not just a bad situation. This is where the ESD has harmed me. What do you say to those people and what kind of action can they take?
Again, I would urge them to contact the governor's office, their state senator, their state representatives, email and call. We are a law office and we handle people's appeals, and the appeals have to be processed for them to get a hearing. So our Office Unemployment Law Project can't represent you in a hearing if they are not processing claims or scheduling hearings. We have been getting calls about people with their bank accounts frozen. So this is not isolated or random. This has been going on and it affects quite a few people. The Sheridan Law Firm in Seattle has filed a petition in the Supreme Court to order employment security to process claims in a timely manner. And so if people want to be a part of that and support that, they can contact our office to make a witness statement that would be submitted to the court.
And if someone wants you to represent them or look at their appeal eventually, can you walk us through that process? Because I know that you take donations, but is there a fee? And, and if people can't pay that fee, what do you do?
Well, we're a nonprofit law office. Advice is free. If we take a hearing case, we ask for $200, but if a person cannot pay that, that is waived. We accept donations. When they have a hearing coming, they should contact the hearing office to have their file sent to the Unemployment Law Project and then contact our office to set up an interview to set up representation.
Is there anything that about the situation that keeps you too up at night?
A person who lost their job or was laid off from their job temporarily due to COVID should get the support that they were promised, and that has not happened. They have had since mid-March to solve this problem and have not taken adequate steps, have done adequate hiring, and or hired the people that they needed to hire with the technical skill to resolve these issues.
It's hard to point the finger at any single factor or any single person or administration. The system has over the years been evolving in this direction where people can no longer really count on it when a crisis like a recession or pandemic hits. So they can't be sure that they're going to get benefits when they do apply. And I've seen even in the very minutes of public meetings of the Employment Security Department that the computer system was set up to be passive aggressive. That this is just one example. If you're looking for the phone number to reach a customer service agent, they want you to go through several steps to get there. So I think it's just one example of how not conscious conspiracy, it's just the system is bent this way. It's to discourage people from applying and from feeling that they can have confidence.
Well, then final thoughts then. What do you think the fallout is when this is all said and done? I mean, a lot of people are calling for Susie Levine to resign, or that she should be fired, but is it really her fault? And I'm not asking that on you. I don't want you to get into a political match on that. But what do you think the obvious fallout is when we, all hopefully have survived this pandemic?
Well, I hope there's going to be some reckoning with the fact that, we can't just let these things stagnate between recessions. Recessions are inevitable. This is going to happen again, maybe not at this unprecedented level, but if we don't have our system ready to help people when they need it, it's going to be the same sense of shock that people are going to have. I worked all my life. I've never applied for unemployment benefits. Why can't you help me now? And we should be trying to make sure that doesn't happen again.
The trend over the last years has been to rely on websites and to minimize contact with people who need to have their claims processed. And it really has been an access issue for people who don't have high-speed computers, who have issues of language barriers, disabilities, reading barriers, technological barriers. And it's basically a class-based system, one for the middle class and upper class, and one for people, the have-nots. And so that needs to be changed. And they need to invest more in hiring people who can directly process claims, answer questions, answer the phone, get interpreters when needed, and to provide access for all.
I think we will have many more discussions on this in the coming weeks and months, if not years. Ann and John, thank you so much for your feedback and for your insight. We certainly appreciate all that you do with the Unemployment Law Project.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.